What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cast&Blast podcast. This is a raw and unfiltered fishing and hunting podcast where we keep the lines tight, the barrels hot, and the beer cold. Today, we're talking dove hunting. Let's get in it, boys.
Let's get in it. And with us today, we have the Dove Core crew, Mr. Chris Ramsey and Mr. Nick Cortez.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, man. Glad you guys made it down.
Thank you, man. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you.
So you guys wanted to hear from dove experts. We brought two guys all the way from Corpus Christi. These guys drove up from South Texas to come join the Cast and Blast podcast today. They're our dear friends that have started their business, and we've been working together for a while. We brought these guys in to talk dove hunting. We're going to dive right in. Here we go. Nick.
What's going on, baby?
Is this or is this not the most exciting time of the year?
Best time of the year. Hands
September
down.
is right around the corner, and we've been chomping at the bit to get out there and do a little dove hunting.
Getting shells ready, getting cords ready.
There you go.
You say
man.
getting shells ready.
Getting shells ready.
When you say get ready, like you
gotta
have to
prep.
stockpile them. now.
Look,
Absolutely.
I have.
He has
a
to get at
thing,
least
and this
15.
dude,
Very bougie.
I gotta shake them. You gotta shake them. You gotta smell them. It's weird. I like a certain color. You know.
So you love the smell of gunpowder, sweat, and sunflowers,
Love
huh?
it.
So if you like a certain color, that means you like a certain brand.
Well, there's probably like two brands. I always ruin how you say the name. Was it
Bornine.
Bornine?
Bornine.
Bornine.
Yeah.
And what is the other one? The red box, the one that we used to shoot all the time.
Those are known as Marlboro Reds.
Yes. Anything with a clear casing, a clear hull, I like. Bougie, I know. Everybody, I see orange flying.
Yeah.
Chris loves the orange. He loves that.
Monarchs.
The Monarchs.
He loves the Monarchs.
They're cheaper.
man.
They're easier to get
You know,
your hands on.
He loves the feet per second.
They're fast.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
the highest feet per second I
Yeah.
found.
I don't like that. He likes the feet per second.
You don't?
No, I'm stuck on 1250.
Nah, man, I
What-
want
what
the higher
works
the
for
better.
You works for you,
Yeah.
though.
So I always try to get my hand on the Rios, man. I just like the color too. You know,
With the
Rios
blues?
12. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rios 12 gauge. The 12 gauge Rios shells are blue.
Yes,
And they match my Lone Star Light. So
This is what I know about dove hunt. Like being a novice dove hunter, you just take as many as you can take. When you
Yes.
think you got enough, double it,
Yeah.
then you're ready.
Yep.
Just grab a case.
unless
grab
you
a
want to
case.
be part of the one box crew.
Oh.
And there are the coveted that have had the opportunity to be part of.
Are any of you in the one box club
I am
ever?
not.
I've done
I
it
am
a
not.
couple
I have
times.
I have
He said
never
a couple
done it.
times. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
couple times.
Okay, let's time out. I have dove hunted in less than one box. But I've never limited out in one box. So just because I stopped shooting and I still had shells didn't mean I hit my limit.
Yeah.
The key to the one box club is what, guys?
Taking down your
15
limit.
birds under 25 rounds.
Yeah.
It
There you
sounds
go.
easy.
Yeah.
Sounds easy. but
Sounds
yeah.
easy.
It is not.
Yeah, so
Till they start flying.
Jimmy, you were a novice and what I'll say first time dove hunter with us last year.
Yeah, dove hunter, and we were talking about that earlier. I was like, when you told me about the one box club, I was like, dude, that's easy. 15 birds, 25 rounds with a shotgun. Who couldn't do that, right? You would think Helen Keller could do that. So, I mean, for real. You put a rifle in my hand, put a bow in my hands. I'm pretty comfortable. I thought I was with the shotgun. I start shooting those birds, and I embarrass myself. You get humbled, right?
You get humbled.
So
That's
you get
it.
humbled.
It's-
It's just
yeah.
something you're not in tune and used to doing. So it happened. That's why I say take a lot of shells.
So for me, man, that's one of the funnest parts about dove hunting is that you actually get to talk shit to your friends after missing a covey. You know, you get a
Yeah.
flight come by and you're just like, pow, pow, pow. Be like, bro. And we always make jokes that somewhere there's a dove right now shaking with no feathers on it, but he's still alive, you
I'm
know?
on that high line just looking at you.
Yeah.
Traumatized.
But you know, there's no shame in that. That's what's great about dove season is like, you know, we talk about like other hunting and how it's different, right? You talk about how, you know, what is different about dove hunting that's, you know, different from other seasons and different from other kinds of hunting.
How much time you got, mister?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
who wants to take it?
A lot of it's just you getting to be with your friends, and you're not just. I mean, you can go solo. That's always fun. If you forget to invite your other friends, sometimes you end up going solo.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
That's why we have them
Small arms.
separated.
Small arms fired.
But
Small arms.
Small arms fired.
but you're not just sitting in a blind by yourself watching out a window, which is always fun too.
Yes.
But
great.
you're out there in a field, and you're with everyone lined up. Even if if a buck comes out, that's the one usually, or you may wait for another one.
Yeah.
But a whole flock of dove fly over and you don't take a shot. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get the
Yeah,
next.
we'll get the next. We'll get the next.
We got
one.
all day to get.
And here's the
20,
thing: you
15.
can't say, "Hey, first one to shoot an 8-pointer wins." You can't. I mean, typically you can't do that. In a weekend, one person might get an 8-pointer, one person might get a 10-pointer.
Bro.
But to say, "Hey, first one to the limit," that's the fun part. And if they're flying, you're gonna get it.
That's what was so fun. Like Chris was saying, how many times have you sit in a stand or a tree or, just on the ground, just waiting for hopefully that one shot. You're just hoping for that one. And that's why I enjoyed it so much last year. All the shooting, the camaraderie, being around all the dudes, you're all together.
Talking shit, laughing.
Shooting birds, shooting guns. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ben, what were you saying? You had the vest with three casings in it.
So that was my thing is like, we talking about the difference between dove hunting and just like hunting, right? Or hunting season or, conventional like deer season, right? I had a hunting jacket that had 3 rounds in the pocket that I carried. That was my combat load, so to speak, for every hunt. I had those same 3 rounds in my jacket for 3 years, 3 seasons. And that was normal. There's no problem with that. That's okay. And we've kind of gotten away from that because now it's like, I want to tag out and I want to do all that, and that's great. But hunting is hunting. It is not killing. And sometimes if you're waiting on a big one and you're going to let them pass and, you're maybe hunting on private and that what's out there, or you're hunting, somewhere and you're like, I'm going after a doe and 2 bucks come out, then you're not going to pull the trigger. Yep. I'm not just shooting everything that moves, so I've kind of evolved as a hunter over the years to where before I just, if it's brown, it's down. If it flies, it dies. But here we are. And no, that wasn't an ice, innuendo.
Sorry, all red-tailed hawks.
But no, man, I mean, red dove, black dove, they all used to come down, find out what it was when it hit the ground. But, I mean, that's just, the evolution of ethical hunting, right?
Yep.
But with a shotgun, there's no, like, regret. When you squeeze the trigger on a shotgun and it's not like ethical shots or anything like that, you're kind of praying and spraying. Yeah. But I mean, we taking good
blasting.
Yeah, you're aiming for dove, right? Yeah. But like if you miss, you miss.
Yeah.
And sure there could be a possibility that one pellet hit that dove and it's gonna go over there and sit and be wounded. But we're the aim is to drop birds out of the sky.
Yeah.
So for the novice, someone like me or somebody that has never done it ever, what would be your tips and tricks of like, hey, this is probably going to make you more successful shooting birds?
Practice.
Yes. Clay shooting throughout the year.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Sporting clays.
There's no season for that.
Yeah.
No
season.
season.
All season.
That's right.
The whole
Game
all
on.
year round. Game on.
That's
Game
right.
On.
So
there's no limit on clays.
There you go.
Unless your wallet.
Your
Yeah,
budget.
Your wallet
there
is
you
your,
go.
is
Yeah,
your
budget is your limit.
Exactly.
Like anything else in hunting.
Yeah, but
exactly.
you can go out there and shoot clays and you can launch them by hand. You can go to a place that has, skeet and trap and all kinds of different methods that you can go and practice your target acquiring.
We started shooting so much that we just went in and bought a machine. We got the Wheelie Bird 2.0. We just added the wobbler to it.
I like you.
Yeah, so it just randomly moves up and down.
That is
right.
cool, man.
It just prepares you, and that's what you need. And that's the thing with birds, and like that's why I feel it's so hard to do the 1 box challenge. These guys will be flying, and the next thing you know, they're gonna drop. They're gonna rise. They're gonna be.
Dude, they take evasive movements,
and
man.
they're moving too. What, like
they
55,
they're
50,
flying.
60?
And they get wise on you, man.
Yes.
Especially here in South Texas, or I'll say here in Texas, right? You got to think it's a migratory bird. It's been making its way from up north, down
All the way
south.
down.
And those things are coming from from who knows where, making their way down here. By the time they've got here,
How
man,
many times they've been shot at?
they're now they're on to you.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, there's something shiny moving. I'm boom, they beeline, and you're just like, okay, they saw me.
There's
you
times
know?
where Chris and I are just there, and we're like, dude, what the hell? How did they
Oh yeah, you
like,
see them coming, and then you're just like, and there they go.
Yeah.
Bro, by the time they make it to South Texas, they're like the Green Beret of Dove.
Hell yeah.
They're like Delta Force, Delta Force Dove.
Yeah, dude, they're
Delta
good.
Force,
and they're
Especially if they get through
fast.
the hill country. If they make it through the hill country and get down to where we are, yeah, they're experts.
So you guys got to be sharp, and you got to have your shotgun's pattern, know what what your lead is, know all that.
That's when it comes down to the shooting the clays.
It
throughout
really
the year.
does.
Yeah.
So can you kind of walk us through that? Like, what do you, for a novice, if you're telling someone, me or somebody else out there that hasn't dove hunt often or bird hunt much, what are you looking for? What do you do when that bird comes flying in?
Well, I mean, that's a lot like shooting clays. You have your lead times, but you also got to know your weapon. I mean, you got to know your shotgun. You got to know what choke you've got in there. You got to know the rounds. Again, I like the faster flying shells. He likes the slower flying shells. And so, and I struggled with that not too long ago at a competition. I was shooting some slower shells, and I was missing everything. Because I just was not used to that slow moving. I wasn't giving it enough lead time. And so when I did finally give it enough lead time, man, I was 30 feet in front of those clays.
And that's crazy. I mean, maybe a 200 feet per second difference, maybe?
Not
It's
even
100.
that. It's 100.
It's 100 feet per second.
But it's crazy that difference, what it can make if you're used to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
shooting
I'm
that.
used to being a little closer on, and it's going to get there. But I had to realize I was having to, and I changed chokes.
Yes.
That was a big thing, too.
Yeah, I think that's real important. Is choosing your choke.
Amen. Say
So,
that again
yeah,
for the people in the back.
Choosing your choke.
Choosing.
Choosing your choke.
When
So-
you say choosing your choke,
Well, the right pattern.
the right pattern. But what do you got? 3-4 different chokes that are maybe.
Well,
I'll
I like to shoot a certain distance, no further than a shoot.
Yeah.
certain
So that's
distance.
what. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna
So,
ask. Is
I'm
like,
not gonna. So Briley years ago had a dove duster.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was basically a light modified choke. Okay, and it was a good choke. Don't get me wrong. It was a light modified, so it didn't matter what it had on it, what kind of writing, what kind of encryption it had on it. It was a good choke. But I have learned that improved cylinder is what I prefer. It just works well. It works well. I typically shoot it when we shoot sporting clays, and it just seems to work well with dove hunting as well.
So, question: do you ever change your choke during the season? Do you have like something that you like adapt to? Because like me, I'm one of those guys that does improved modified, and I just leave that choke in all season.
Yeah.
But I'm changing shell,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm doing that throughout the season just because of what the pattern and the flight and the activity that the dove are doing. Sometimes they're not coming in as close; they're flying a little higher. I want to probably drop my shot number. I go down from like 7 and is it 7 and that?
Seven and a half.
7.5 to 6, and now I got a less shot in the shell, but they're a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So they're a little heavier, and they're getting out there, and I adapt. But do you do something where you stay with the same shell and then maybe modify your choke?
I typically do.
Yeah, I think that's a day-to-day type of thing.
It
for
should
us
be.
down there.
It
It
kind of
should
is.
be.
It's not so
Wow.
much what
And that's
part of
why-
the year it is or season. It's more of that day when we get there and it's windy. They're gonna be high.
Yeah, if it's
You know.
windy, you want to tighten it up
You're gonna
sometimes.
tighten it up.
You really want to tighten it up some.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's break it down Barney style. We're talking about chokes here, and most shotguns come with a series of chokes, depending on the shotgun you buy or whatever, right? But you can also adapt and go out and purchase your own chokes and try those and see how those are shooting. But what you want to do is figure out how to adjust those chokes, how to tighten them down properly, how to get them onto your shotgun barrel. And as I'm talking about that, I want to talk about a special tool that
it's kind of required.
the Dove Cord guys have made it a point to kind of add to another thing that's very important to us in dove hunting world. And I think we could just dive right into that, and we'll segue back to whatever we're talking about. But we're talking about chokes. Let's talk about a choke tube tool or wrench.
Before we show that, though, if you haven't yet, what should you do?
Let me take this camera over. If you're watching right now, I want you to subscribe. I want you to like, and I want you to drop comments. I want you to let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. I want you to let us know what works for you. I want you to let us know if we mention something that works for us and it doesn't work for you. Let us know, but make sure you're subscribing. Thank you, Jimmy.
And now we're back with the choke tube wrench.
The choke two guys. The choke two guys.
The Choke Two Brothers.
Nah.
Yeah, I was about to call it something. I was going to make a joke, and then it came out really bad.
So listen, guys, if you are not following by now, the Dove Cord. We brought the Dove Cord guys out here. They're sitting here in studio with us now, and we're here to talk dove hunting.
Yes.
But what we're here to talk about also is a product that they have put in the market for every registered dove hunter in Texas and around the nation. With that said, and man, we're getting close to putting them in every state, aren't we, Chris?
That'd be nice. Yeah, I think I've sold to 46 states. And
Come on.
46
And
Wow.
2 countries.
What are you missing? What?
Well, you're never
know?
going to get, Hawaii and Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
And you think not California, but I've sold several to California. I actually am a big sponsor from
We don't know what they're using them for, but we don't want to ask.
quail. A lot of quail.
Sure.
Sure.
but then
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
Keep
we'll
saying
we'll go with
that.
quail.
And you got some state like Michigan doesn't have a season, so they have no need for it. I mean, I was up there a couple years back and went to a big outdoor store, and they're like, "Yeah, we would have no need. We don't do dove hunting." up
Well,
here."
Wow.
I know guys in Michigan who have come down with us to hunt. Maybe we get a dove cord in their hands, you know?
Yeah, true.
Well, and they have some. I have some veterans that are living up in the Michigan area, and they come down here to George West area.
Hell yeah.
And they hunt, and they have dove cords.
The hunting mecca of Texas.
There you go.
But check it out, man. So we're going to talk a little bit about their product. I'm going to turn it over to Chris and let him discuss what it is we're talking about here and why it's so important for every dove hunter, every registered dove hunter, and hell, if you're not a registered dove hunter, I'm not going to be mad at you, bro. Do your thing. Just do it with a dove cord in your hand.
There you go.
Absolutely.
All right, Chris, the floor is yours.
All right, so what we got is we got 550 paracord. It's going to be nice and durable. It's going to, you're going to be able to hang all your birds. It's not going to weight it down. You got a loop on the end here, foot or head. It's going to hold them up. You got a carabiner at the top. It's going to hang from a fence line, a tree post, a tree branch, your tailgate, anything you can clip this clip onto. And you got 15
I got nipples,
rings.
Greg. Can you click them on me?
Come on, me, Greg.
So you're going to get 15 rings on every one of them, keeping you within your limits, whether it be quail or dove. And pretty much you're going to, by hanging them and not using those vests or those bags, you're going to keep them nice and cool. So they're not going to be all hot and sweaty in your bag.
No
You're not going to
bucket.
be all hot and sweaty wearing the vest. Some people throw them on the ground. Next thing you know, you got ants. People use buckets. Then they're having to pull them out to count them. Game wardens love it. They roll up. They see empty rings. They know you're good. The guys wearing the vest and the buckets and the waste bags, there they are. They're pulling them out. They're counting. While they're counting, we're back hunting. They're dealing with the game warden. We're not having to because we've already showed them how many we've got, and they see empty ones and they say, "Oh, get back at it."
So I look at it as like being, more deer, turkey, pig, something like that, more hunting in my life doing that. And if I ever shoot one of those animals, I'm not going to take that thing and wrap it in a bag or put it in a bucket or something when it's 90 or 100 degrees outside.
Exactly.
So that's what's really cool about this. I mean, I don't know anybody that would do that with any animal, but for birds, people tend to do it. But this keeps you from doing that.
Absolutely.
I mean, just like
Yeah.
you said. And we've had the game warden on the podcast quite a bit of times. And for a lot of you guys that's watched this for a while, you've seen him praise this thing. Like Chris said, game wardens love it. They can just walk up. They can see your count right away.
It's a good way to keep you within your legal limit.
keep
Once
you
you
with-
feel that dove cord, your hunting day is over.
Yeah, and sure, it's only going to keep an honest person honest, just like anything would. But, I mean, if the game warden sees that you're showing them, like, this is it, they're probably going to, shake your hand, wish you good luck, and move on.
Yep.
And it makes it real nice when you are out with your buddies, being a social event, and you got a little competition going on.
Because there always
As
is.
always.
There always
There's
is.
always.
And everybody's got them hanging from a canopy or a truck, your tailgate, whatever. And you can just, I got 2 more left.
Yep.
And the next thing you know, you see people start scrambling to get theirs filled. And so, it's just, it gives you a little more visual, a little more
Simplistic.
and you got eyes on what you got going on.
And the cool, like you said, it's going to be very durable. I mean, you have one, it's probably going to last you a lifetime.
Oh yeah.
It's going to last a lifetime.
Your hardest thing is going to be if you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we do have people that every year they want a new color.
Oh, yeah.
They want a newest color that I've come out with. We've got guys that I shoot 12, so I want the green and brown. But when I shoot my 20, I want
Yellow.
yellow and blue.
Yeah.
Or whatever color, and that's just them being who they are.
Yeah.
But
Bougie.
Bougie,
Bougie, and that's all right.
And when we're talking my 12 and my 20, we're talking gauge of shotgun, guys. We're still staying within 15. Calm down.
PG. So another
Birds.
thing, right? How in the hunting or fishing, how many items can you think of? We'll say under $50, and this price point is well under that you could buy that could last you a lifetime.
Yeah,
I can't think of very many.
Yeah.
And and they get real popular around Christmas time as stocking stuffers.
Oh yeah.
What do I get my father-in-law? Huh? Well, I don't know. Oh, you know what? He dove hunts. Let me get him one of these. He'll love it. You know.
And it's kind of like a knife. I think the dove cord is kind of like a knife. You can't have too many, and like guns. You know what I mean? Because you can. I mean, every year I get a new one at least. Or
He's very bougie.
yeah, very
Yeah.
bougie.
He's got to have those colors
Well,
coordinated.
he
and-
changes his wardrobe every year, so now he has to
Yeah.
incorporate.
Chris, I need a gray one this year. I got a new gray.
I just got that one today from the Texas Dove Hunters Association because I like the
Yes.
color, man. And
TDA.
It's got
what-
their logo on
one
it
of the
there.
great things about that is that just so happens to match my favorite camo print, so the colors work. And
All right.
but check it out, guys. Not only are we talking about the dove cord itself, they've managed to add a tool to that to make your dove hunting experience better, and it goes back to what we were talking about, choke tubes. So I'm gonna let them talk about that.
Yeah, so if you're running an internal choke tube, this tool will help you out. It's a universal, so it's got 2 sides. It can grab a hold of the little notches on the choke, or it can go down inside. Now, if you're running an extended, it doesn't really work, but that's just you grab.
You
it
grab
by your
that from
hand.
the outside.
We used to do metal, steel ones, but COVID and everything else in between, price of everything
Reaganomics.
kept going up and up and up, and then it got to where what I was paying for those.
Yeah.
Bidenomics. What I was paying for those metal ones is pretty much what it was costing to make an entire dove cord.
Yeah.
So with the help of my son, who is a very IT and computer science guy, we bought him a 3D printer for Christmas one year. I said, "You think you can make this?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." Made one in about 10 minutes. So then I said, "You know what? I guess I need a 3D printer." So my 3D printer runs just nonstop. Just changing out rolls, I make them all different colors, and they're just as durable. I mean, they're a hard plastic, so they don't have to be super tough or anything like that. But they work great. And so, we put our logo on them. If it's one of our 30 stores throughout Texas, it'll have their logo as well as our logo. It's just kind of if you're in the field and your buddy sees you with it, hey, what is that? Oh, it's the dove cord. Where'd you get it? We got it through the Texas Dove Hunters Association. So kind of a branding for 2 different companies.
And for expectation management, if you inherit grandpa's, 60-year-old 12 gauge that's been, sitting on the mantle for 50 years, that tool may not work for that. So if it works well for maintained well-maintained gun.
And a lot of people actually will take it off and put it on their own keychain.
Yeah.
Just kind of to have it as we all like the stickers that come with things and keychains that come with the free that you paid for.
Super well thought out product.
So-
And came,
Well, it was a long thing that I had to come up with because I wanted a way to have my brand on there. And being the item that it is, it was very tough. I thought about leather, different things, and then
The cost of that would have
cost
cost
of it,
it would have been an inheritance to the consumer, right? Because you're saving the consumer money by trying to keep it simple, effective, but at the same time, look, I don't need to add all this razzle dazzle to it just so it to be
keep it
effective.
affordable.
Yeah, I want to keep it affordable.
Yeah.
and I want you to enjoy it. I don't,
And with the way you've done it, to me, honestly, that looks more authentic than maybe a leather wrap. Like I enjoy this more than I probably would a leather wrap, to tell the truth.
Well, and the
There's-
leather ones, once they get wet, they get
Yeah.
blood on them. They do start to stain, and they do start to unravel and fall apart. And these have always been. I mean, I know some people have had them come apart on them, but they'll mess with them.
And they're all hand built. They're not
all
yeah,
handmade
all
in Portland,
handmade. They
Texas.
are.
Yep.
P-Town.
So here's the cool thing about these guys is that these things are the original dove cord. There are many like it, but this one is the original dove cord. You can see other people doing their version of it and trying to make their copy and do that stuff, and that's great, whatever. But this is the original. You're supporting the original dove cord when you purchase from thedovecord.com. Is that where they can find your products?
Yeah, we are thedovecord.com. Again, 30 different stores throughout the state of Texas.
Do you have a dealer list listed on your website?
Probably not an updated one. My website's it's there. It does its job, but social media, every aspect of social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everything.
So are you the Dove Cord on all
Everything.
social?
The Dove Cord.
The Dove Cord.
Because you are the Dove Cord.
The Dove Cord.
I like that.
Yeah, here's the good thing about the Dove Cord also. Chris didn't come up with this. He came up with this for himself in the sense of, I want something better.
Something to work.
Yeah, something that'll work with my birds and, tied to the vest and the bucket and stuff like that. So then once he did get going, he said, you know what, let's focus this on something a little bit more to give back. So the Dove Cord really pushes veterans and children.
Yeah.
So, we donate a lot to different kinds of shoots like that. Chris, you want to?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're spot on. It pretty much everything that comes in goes right back out to either merchandising or veterans programs, donations there. There's some kids hunts out there that we donate a lot to. They'll say, hey, we got 50 kids coming out. All right, well, I'll have 50 Dove Cords going out the door to you. And, and because those kids also, they don't want to be wearing the heavy vest in the middle of the summer, or when it's 90-something degrees.
Yep.
So, we get a lot of great pictures back, especially from the kids programs of them holding them up and enjoying them, and special need kids that, they take a lot of special needs kids out hunting for the first time. And they may only have one dove on there, but
that's a dove.
But that's
Yeah.
the best
That's
dove hunt
right
they've
there.
ever been
yeah,
on.
and they
Ever.
love it,
Yep.
and a couple of different veterans programs, that we work real closely with, and some of them we create their own color scheme for them. And then some of the other ones we just donate to, and just a lot of them invite us to go hunt, so we hang out with them and get to be
Great
a part
people.
of that.
Great people, great little gatherings and stuff like that.
So on top of that, man, let's talk of some of the organizations you support or that you work and collaborate with. Those are the big deal right now for me. I think it's a big deal for any entrepreneur in Texas to see and follow and support some of these organizations that you're being part of, that you're rubbing elbows with and collaborating with. Talk about a couple of those organizations.
Well, the big veteran program that we're working with right now is Lone Star, and the things that they're doing, and really it's given them a product to sell to everyone. Really, it's not just veterans, and so that's just their way of bringing money in to help them continue to take veterans hunting. Some of the kids programs, we were working with Texas Dove Hunter Association, and they do the Hunt for Heart, I think is what it is, or Heart for Hunt, something like that. And they take kids out. We donate to Texas Dove Hunter Association so they can give out in some of their raffles and their programs and stuff that they do. Texas Trophy Hunters Association, we donate to them, and they pretty much give them to a lot of their members. But there's just been, over the last 7 years, there's been multiple organizations come to me. And sometimes we only see them once, and then they just kind of disappear. Some of them we work with, like Rally Point Outdoors. We've worked with them for
A few years
4 years now in a row. And, a great group of guys. They all meet down in George West the first part of September, all veterans. And they just do a big hunt. They've got barbecue, and they bring all their kids, and they've got bounce houses, and they just hang out at this one ranch the whole weekend and just have a good time. And you can hunt, all 3 days, they do a skeet shoot, and so we'll donate, some belt buckles or something like that to them for the skeet winners, and just any of those types of programs. Really, I don't have one in particular that I stay with, and we kind of just. But I do have to limit it because, like anyone else, sometimes they come fast and furious. And
Yeah, it can get overwhelming.
yes, absolutely.
And you guys work pretty closely or have a good relationship with the Texas Dove Association.
Oh yeah.
And they got that, Banded Bird program, which is really cool. So,
Yeah.
I mean, y'all supporting each other, so you're indirectly supporting that program as well. And if you don't know what that is if you become a member of the Texas Dove Association, you can register with the Banded Bird program. Man, that's a hard. That can get a tongue twister. But you can register for that, and then if you happen to shoot one of these banded birds and you call it in, which you must be registered for that. There's a ton of different prizes out there, from side by sides to guns to hunts to all kinds of. And I think they change year to year, but. If you're not registered, you can't get on it. So just make sure you go and get registered for that Banded Bird program.
Yeah, and it's a lot like CCA with their tagged redfish, but in that fashion, CCA says it has to be a 2025 tagged redfish. If you pull up a 2020, you're out. With the Banded Bird competition through Texas Dove Hunter Association, if it's banded, it's banded. It doesn't matter if that bird managed to get through 6 years or 4 years, whatever. If you hit it and you're registered and you're a member, you don't have to. I don't think you have to be a member, but as long as you're registered, then you're in the hunt. And I think she told us today there was like 50-something birds.
59.
59.
And only 5 were actually registered.
Yeah.
In the program, and then like we were down in the valley doing the hunting show down there, and a lot of people kept saying, "Well, we never see those down here." But the guy who won the side by side was from Edinburgh. So he was down there.
Pretty down south, if you ask me.
The bird was there.
I don't think you get much
Further south?
Yeah, further south than that.
I agree.
And you're banding migratory birds, so they're not going to just stay in that one area. And they're releasing them in a good, area. She won't tell me where.
Yeah, so I asked, well, I didn't ask specifics, but just making sure that it was, like asking if it was spread out throughout the state. She said every corner, like they're not just released in one spot.
Yeah.
They spread around. Oh, Charlotte Schuster.
Yeah, so she's out there running the Texas. Well, she's big part of the effort behind the Banded Bird program and the release and the, there's a conservation effort behind it. Also, there's a lot of education that they promote and all that stuff. So I highly recommend you to go on to the Texas Dove Hunters Association website. Check out the website. There's all kinds of information you can get just from visiting their website, following them on social media. And then on top of that, we highly recommend you register for the Banded Bird program, because when you do, and you do drop one of those, and that puts you in the drawing for one of those big prizes, and there's no way you can win without being registered. So don't sit there and cry about it when you drop the bird with a band on its leg and you sit there and go like, hey, man, there's no transferring. There's no hand it to your buddy who's registered. I'm pretty sure they do an extensive, with the amount of money that's behind the prizes that are going out. They're going to do an extensive investigation to make sure you're being on the up and up, because they're doing everything they can to put these cool prizes in your hand.
But I suggest everyone also become a member. It's like $25 for the year. Become a member. I think
I'm a member. I'm doing my part.
I think this is how you get.
It is.
And you get, sometimes they have other little
publications.
Yeah, you get a magazine twice a year.
Yep.
And it's a great magazine.
It is.
Very well put together.
And if you're checking out this year's magazine, you might be able to get Mr. Nick Cortez to sign that magazine, because we got Mr. Nick Cortez sitting in there,
We got to set up a book signing somewhere.
There you go.
This would be
There you
great.
go. You bring your Dove Hunters Association book down, and Nick will sign it. We'll set up a
I
booth.
don't know how long that line's going to be. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's going to be around the corner, man.
It's just going to be his mom.
Yeah. Mijo, how many books did you get?
I don't know.
How many do you want, Mom?
Well, I still got your report card from the 8th grade.
I can sign that down. All right, that wasn't worth it. Just set that aside. No, man, that's the Texas Dove Hunters. It's a great thing, but I do love the Banded Bird program. Is it right? Is it BBP? Banded bird?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just cool. I'm really looking forward to this year. Hopefully I get to drop one.
I
don't
do
know.
too,
That would
man.
be great.
I'm registered. I want to get on there and get me my chance at a side by. I want a new side by side, bro.
Yes.
Miss me with the freaking shotgun and all that stuff. I got a dove cord, so let me get that side by side, son.
Yeah,
So, and pretty much everyone who does get a banded bird, everyone gets a dove cord. I think everyone gets like one of those bucket game washers also. And, there's some things that just by you getting that banded bird, you get prizes also. It's not just like, one and done and you don't get anything.
I'm
So-
shooting one this year.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing,
find
man.
it.
What we don't know and what we haven't talked about is not only are you entering for a prize, you're giving data to Texas basically on the migration. So they know where they release these birds. And then when you drop it and you register where you actually got that bird and harvested, that record gives them an idea of how these birds are migrating. So it gives us a little bit more knowledge on how and where the release. And that maybe help them to kind of get to different parts of Texas and say, hey, we're going to release in this region, release in this region. So don't think that, the birds don't make it down to my area or the birds aren't over here. Listen, we're still gathering that data, so it's super important for you to share that information when you do drop a banded bird. And even if you're not registered,
Call it in.
I can't imagine why you wouldn't. But even if you're not, call it in, let them know, because that's helping the rest of us dove hunters.
Yeah.
And speaking of dove hunters registered in Texas, holy cow, does dove hunting bring a huge revenue every year to Texas?
I thought it was fake, man.
Yeah, so you
I
saw for your you saw it for your own eyes. Did you do a little research and see how big dove hunting is here?
I did. Well, I did last year.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what that number was. But
Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions.
So we've talked about some basics. We've talked about some products here. Let's dive in tactics.
And gear.
Gear.
Right? Like, what are the bare necessities? What if somebody wants to get into it? What is the bare necessities that
You
they
need a
need?
shotgun. You need shells. That's about it.
You didn't say
And a
camo.
good attitude.
So no camo. I've seen guys out there in snake boots and shorts.
Dude, so
No shirt.
for years, no shirt. Yeah, for years it was what, blue jeans and a black shirt.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's it. That's
That's
all
how
that
I roll
wore.
every day. That's
I
what I'm
mean,
wearing right now.
Pretty much.
So- If you ever want to just like maybe have your first hand at trying, it sounds like dove hunt may be the way to try to see if you may love to hunt because, well, you need some shells and a shotgun. That's it.
That's the
it.
beauty of dove hunting, as far as like somebody who really wants to hunt and get out there and try it out, or just any kind of hunting. Period. I think dove hunting is the way to start. If you
Is it the
re-
gateway drug?
I think so.
I
And let me,
I
let me
say
tell
it
you
is.
why. Because
Gateway.
if you say, look, what like 90-something% of Texas is privately owned.
Yeah.
Okay, so other than that, to go say, you know what, hey Dad, I wanna shoot I wanna go deer hunting. Okay, well let me either find a lease.
Let me call Cast&Blast
Yeah.
Outfitters.
So that's 1,000 plus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's gonna be at least however much to go and kill a deer and then get it processed, and or if you process it, whatever you want to do. But the thing with dove hunting, if you want to, and that's the beauty of it, you can start from like very beginner all the way up into super bougie. So if you say, hey, I want to start, okay, well, go to Academy, get yourself a $250 shotgun, get yourself a
Couple
cake,
boxes of
couple
shells.
boxes of shells, get yourself a dove cord.
$250 of shells.
Yeah, 250. Yeah, exactly. That's what. So, and then you go and you can find dove hunts for the day from as low as $50 up to like 150. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure they go higher, but
Day hunts.
yeah,
Yeah.
day
Yeah,
hunts.
just
A
day
day hunt, and you try it out, and that's the thing. Like that's great, and I promise you, if you do that, you're hooked. And here's the other thing: you don't have to own the shotgun.
Yeah.
I promise you, you're gonna know somebody that has a shotgun. Shit, Chris, how many shotguns do you have?
Wife might watch this.
Yeah, no, we can't ever say how many we really have got.
Well, they all cost
Hey,
$250.
Chris, can you hide those guns that are behind you over there?
I own quite a few shotguns myself, but I still borrow one of Ben's shotguns when we go down there just because mine are more outfitted for turkey and turkey hunting and then slug barrels on them. So they're not that great of a dove gun.
So if we're being honest, guys, the cost of ammunition and all that stuff for other kind of hunting gets up there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Shotgun shells are probably the cheapest type of ammunition to get, is it not? So when you're talking about getting into hunting and getting into, like you said, the rifle it doesn't need a scope. You don't need to put
Yeah, you don't
glass
need
on
optics.
it. You don't need glass or none of that. You just need the shotgun, and you can start off. Man, I started off with a Mossberg
Mossberg.
Maverick 88, long barrel. I had no fancy camo or none of that. I just went out there and what I had, a couple boxes of shells, and I tried to see what was coming over, knocking down birds. Okay, I'm getting into this. Let's start that off. I will tell you this, that once you do get into it, let me tell you, I'm a buy once, cry once guy. I want to go ahead and get it over with because if you go and you say, I'm going to work my way up to a good shotgun, or I'm going to work my way into good shells, or I'm going to work, you'll find that you're buying 4, 5, 6 shotguns
Over
before you
and
get to
over.
the one you want. So do a little research and figure out exactly what's out there and what it would benefit you, and just say, hey, you know what? Until I can afford that shotgun, I'm not going to buy 3, 4, 5, or 6 shotguns.
Yep.
I'm going to stick with this Maverick 88.
Ben, so I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So on that note, what do you shoot?
So I have a simple semi-auto Stoger M3000.
Okay.
I use that for duck hunting and dove hunting. Change the chokes, right? And then my wife uses the Beretta A400.
Good shotgun. Good shotgun.
Simple, nothing too crazy. It's the one with the camo print and all that stuff, but it's got a lot less recoil for whatever the way they designed it and some of the buttstock design, all that stuff. So for a woman or even a guy, I hand that one to Jimmy.
I'm a pretty small dude.
But
my
you know,
lady friend.
tell me or not that it's not beating up your shoulder every time
No,
we go.
man, not at all.
How many times have you come home with a bruise on your shoulder?
None.
And-
And I
and-
sent a few rounds, a few shells.
Yeah, and you know, most people that go hunting for the first time is because they're not shouldering their shotgun the right way. They're got a really bad recoil, and all those things that you can contribute to that. They come back with that bruise and that part of their shoulder they shouldn't have a bruise in.
Yep.
And we'll get into that in a little bit, but you know, I mean, we're talking about gear, we're talking about all that stuff, and there's not a lot you need to go dove hunting, man.
There isn't.
Pretty
There
simple.
are some unique things about getting your license, and I think we should talk about it because now is the time to talk about it. September 1st is when they start selling all the new licenses
It's
for
coming.
the new year. If you're not, what do they call that? Annual date to date.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're just going from, I don't know what
Fiscal?
they call it, fiscal year.
Yeah, I think it
It's
was
September
October.
1st. Yeah, it's September 1st. They start selling hunting license or whatever. It is important to know that you got to get your hunting license. You got to have your endorsement, the HIP endorsement, right? And you got to have your migratory and all that
Migratory bird.
stuff.
Yep.
And on top of that,
And I was gonna
guys,
say, and
you got to have a plug in your shotgun.
well,
Gotta have
plug,
and
but
hunter's education. I know you're probably going to say that.
well, hunters. I mean, that's. I was gonna talk permits. If you're gonna be on on
public.
on public, just make sure that if that piece of public requires a permit as well as your license.
Yeah.
So
That can be the additional cost that you have.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going to get out there and you're going to be hunting all year round, and there could be other types of hunting you do on public land.
Well,
so
you
that
may get out
public
there-
permit gets used for other things as well.
Yeah, once you get that permit, you may get out there and you're going to be like, man, look at that sounder hogs. Look at all these deer. If you're in a
There's ducks out here, you
ducks
know.
or whatever. Yeah,
Gateway.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
but exotics out there. The gateway hunt, gateway drug. But hunting is addicting.
And dove hunting is addicting.
So we're talking about Chris and Nick being like the dove experts, and it's not like they dove hunt only. We sat in a blind with Chris last year for probably 6 hours and stared at nothing but fog. that
yeah,
day.
and it can work that
Like,
way.
it's just the way it is. So they're not dove hunters only.
No, but I tell you what, the same can go for dove hunting. I don't want to mislead anyone and tell you, hey, you get out there and the black clouds of birds are going to be flying over you and all
Argentina.
that. Yeah, no, man, it's not going to be like that all the time. But I'll tell you, get out there, whether it's public or private, you can find places to get out. If you're gonna, so let's talk a little bit of how different ways we can dove hunt.
Well,
I'm gonna go into a couple. What were you gonna ask?
I just wanted to give one more plus why I think dove hunting is a gateway too. You are more likely to knock on a door and say, "Can I dove hunt or deer hunt?" You're more likely to be able to dove hunt than you would to deer hunt or
Oh, yeah.
anything else. So it'll probably give you access to more private.
Yes.
And this is just tricks from the trade. Once you get your foot in the door, sometimes that helps you. So if you start early season knocking on doors saying, "Can I dove hunt?" and then you can kind of start making a deal, whether it's a monetary, you're trading services like work, labor, or something for, maybe a deer hunt, one deer hunt a year or something.
Yeah,
Or
that's
just a-
WPS though. I mean,
or
that's
just
not
a
normal
kind-
for everyone.
Yeah, or just a kind
No.
farmer.
It very well could be.
It's definitely. It's not in my experience. That's WPS.
Me and Chris-
I ain't knocking on any doors and
Me and
getting
Chris are
access to
privileged.
their.
Oh yeah.
Well, I did it. I did it for like 3 years. I was hunting down this farmer. It's in a little, it's a little way out Weber. Let's just call it way out Weber. We'll just call that. And I mean, I would knock on his door in the first year.
You know they got a website for that, right?
I do, but here it's
Farmers.com.
private. Yeah, it's
Farmersonly.com.
Let me see your search history.
yeah.
So I kept knocking at his door. I'd be like, hey, 1 year, and he's like, oh, I'll think about it. I'll get back to you. I was like, okay, nothing.
Ask for fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I went back another year, and the wife was like, oh, he's not here right now. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I went back a third year and got him. I got him inside his barn. And I saw him. I pulled up. I said, hey, I don't know the last couple of years, but I came. You remember me a couple of years ago? And he was like, oh, yeah, what's going on? So I had my whole spiel, presentation and PowerPoint and laser.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, it's just
Here's
me.
my graph chart.
Yeah, exactly. It's just me. I don't drink while I'm out there. I'll pick up all my shells, everything. And he was like, yeah, you know what? Go ahead and hunt that tree line. And I was like, okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
So and we did it. So it's like I said, if you just catch more bees with honey.
So it's not
be respectful.
WPS.
I thought it was because I think that's bullshit. But anyway,
Proving you wrong.
yeah. So we're running out of time here, but I want to go ahead and summarize. Dove hunting is a social type of hunting. You get together with your friends. I'm here with some of my best buds right now. We're talking dove hunting. There's a smile from ear to ear on everyone's face because we're excited for what's coming.
Wait for the pictures on September 13th.
That's
if you
right.
don't think you're going to go, check out our Facebook
That's
on
right.
September
Yeah.
13th, and you're going to want to go dove hunting.
And then we're talking about how cool it is to make sure you're getting into a hunting genre, so to speak, or a niche, right? And it's the one like that you don't need a whole lot of gear. You need shotgun, you need shells, you need a dove cord. You need to stay within your legal limits. You can get into later, and we'll do another episode where we're talking about decoys and what works, what don't. What do I do this? What are my tactics and this and that? You just got to get out there. That comes with practice, experience, getting out with your buddies, seeing what works for them, and then you can go in and dive in a little bit. But this is the one kind of hunting that it won't break your bank, man.
It's always been considered the poor man's hunting, and because you didn't need much, you just needed a place to go, And I mean, I started out with a single shot 12 gauge,
Yeah.
and that's bruised shoulder every time. Hated it, but I loved shooting.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I grew up as a kid doing that single shot 410, and until my dad came and pulled that out of my hand and said, "Here, son, you need to shoot a man's gun." And I was sitting there with a 12 gauge, and it was a bad experience for me.
I think everybody remembers their first shotgun.
Yeah.
Mine was a New England
NEF. NEF.
yeah.
single
Yep.
shot 20 gauge, man. But that Christmas, when I seen it under that Christmas tree, was like, the highlight of my life
Oh,
at that
yeah.
time, man.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yep.
But this is an opportunity for you to get out there with your buddies, get out there with some family. Me and my wife go every year. We love to get together and do dove hunting. And I just think you guys are going to be a little bit surprised that this is going to be the one type of hunting that you look forward. I mean, we look forward to all different seasons.
Oh, sure.
But dove hunting is kind of like that's the opening into other seasons. Duck season's right around the corner. You got early season teal. The weather starts getting cold. We got the split coming. You got the rut. You got all kinds
It's
of.
the perfect thing to get you primed, man. It
Yep.
just gets you primed and going. There's not a whole lot of there's a little bit of work in any hunting, but there's not it's good time hunting is what it is. There's not a whole lot of work before, during, or after. It's all good times.
And guys, you that are gonna say, you know what, I think I am gonna try it this year. I think it's only gonna get better these next few years that are going out, because I think last year we were looking into it, and I think the dove population went up by 50%.
Yeah.
The dove population was up by 50% as of last year. So I doubt that it went down this year. So
They're
it's
talking about it looking pretty good.
yeah. I
so
would
if you
imagine
guys are
with-
gonna get into it. It's a good time.
I think it's
a
going to
good
be
time.
another good year.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
and
agree.
I think that when you take everybody out and when the day is over, and at least one of you said, "This is the best day ever,"
That's it.
then you're done.
And we have definitely experienced
Yes,
that.
and we're
haven't we? Best day ever!
Whether
That's
it be
right.
a child or
Or
a
a
grown
grown-ass
man.
man.
Yeah,
That's
grown
right.
ass man.
It happens.
So calm.
Yep.
There you go. Well, listen, guys, we're going to sign off here, but I just want to encourage you, man, just to get out there, dove hunt this season. And we want to ask you to come back into this video, drop some comments, let us know how it went for you. If you have any questions for us at all, we will respond to you. If you want us to drop a video, a how-to, a what, hey, break down, a pump action, an auto, and an over-under. You want us to break down different series of shells. You want us to introduce you to some decoys. You want us to introduce you to some methods and some swings and some all that. We would love to make some videos for you. But this was just an intro and open the door to dove season. This is my friends, the Dove Court crew here, Chris Ramsey and Nick Cortez, Nasty Jim. I'm going to sign us out, man. Thank you for watching this podcast. We had a couple co-ones here with you. We talked about dove hunting, my first love. We talked about my friends and their awesome product. We're going to be getting after it this season, man, and we're going to be sharing all kinds of videos and content with you guys. I hope you get out there this season and get after some dove. You hit your limit, we'll hit ours. I think I've already reached mine, but we're going to have a good time this year. Thank you for watching the Cast&Blast podcast. We're signing out. Peace.
Peace, love, and dove grease.
Yes.
Go.
God bless. Happy hunting.